Gambling can have significant and far-reaching effects on men's mental health, leading to a range of psychological, emotional, and social problems. While gambling affects individuals differently, the pressures and challenges men face in society can sometimes exacerbate the impact of this behavior. Here's a detailed account of how gambling can influence men's mental well-being. 1. Psychological effects. Stress and anxiety. Gambling often induces stress and anxiety, particularly as men face increasing financial strain due to losing money. The cycle of risk-taking and the fear of not winning can lead to heightened anxiety, with men constantly worrying about their next bet and the potential fallout from losing more money. Depression. Chronic gambling can trigger depression in men. The repeated cycle of losing and the inability to control their gambling behavior can lead to feelings of hopelessness, sadness, and despair. The emotional toll of gambling, such as guilt, shame, and regret, can exacerbate depressive symptoms, leaving the individual feeling trapped in a cycle of negativity. Obsessive thoughts. As gambling addiction progresses, men may experience obsessive thoughts about gambling. They may fixate on their next bet, replay past wins and losses, or plan how they can continue gambling to recoup losses. This obsession can significantly impair their ability to focus on other areas of life, including relationships, work, and personal well-being. Cognitive distortions. Many individuals who gamble experience cognitive distortions, irrational or biased thinking patterns. For instance, they might develop a belief in the gambler's fallacy, which is the mistaken idea that they are due for a win after a series of losses. This can cloud their judgment and lead them to make increasingly risky bets, damaging their mental health. 2. Addiction and escapism. Gambling addiction. Gambling can become a full-blown addiction, affecting not only men's mental health, but also their personal and professional lives. The compulsive need to gamble despite negative consequences is a hallmark of gambling disorder. This addiction can create a constant emotional roller coaster, where moments of exhilaration from wins are overshadowed by guilt, anxiety, and self-loathing after losses. Escapism and avoidance. For many men, gambling serves as a form of escapism. It offers an outlet to temporarily escape feelings of stress, dissatisfaction, or a lack of control in other areas of life. However, while gambling may provide short-term relief, it often worsens mental health over time by reinforcing avoidance behaviors and delaying the resolution of underlying emotional issues such as low self-esteem, anger, or trauma. 3. Social and relationship strain. Relationship breakdown. Gambling can have a destructive impact on relationships. As men continue to gamble, they may lie about the extent of their losses, leading to distrust and conflict with family members, romantic partners, and friends. Financial troubles caused by gambling can strain relationships, as partners and family members may feel the burden of managing debts or supporting someone who is failing to take responsibility for their actions. In some cases, gambling can lead to complete breakdowns in communication and intimacy. Social isolation. A man struggling with gambling may withdraw from social activities and relationships. The shame and guilt associated with gambling losses can cause him to isolate himself, reducing his social circle. This isolation can worsen mental health, as social support plays a critical role in emotional well-being. The withdrawal from loved ones and friends can make men feel even more alone and isolated, compounding feelings of depression and anxiety. 4. Financial problems and the fear of losing everything. Financial stress. One of the most immediate impacts of gambling on mental health is the financial stress it can cause. The cycle of gambling to win back lost money often leads to deeper financial trouble. Men may struggle with mounting debt, which brings constant worry, panic, and a sense of being overwhelmed. The stress of unpaid bills, creditors, and potentially losing assets like homes or cars can fuel feelings of anxiety and depression. Sense of shame and self-blame. Financial losses can also lead to intense feelings of shame and self-blame. Many men feel embarrassed about their inability to control their gambling, especially if it has affected their loved ones. This shame can worsen mental health, leading to low self-worth and a diminished sense of self-respect. The more they gamble, the deeper they get into financial turmoil, creating a vicious cycle of self-destructive behavior and worsening mental health. 5. Impact on work and career. Reduced job performance. Gambling addiction can interfere with a man's ability to focus on work, meet deadlines, or perform well in his job. Thoughts about gambling and trying to hide the addiction can make it difficult to concentrate on professional responsibilities. In some cases, this distraction can lead to mistakes, missed opportunities, or even job loss. Risk-taking behavior. In an attempt to solve their financial problems, Men may engage in risky behaviors, such as embezzling money or taking on additional debt to fund their gambling habits. These actions can have long-lasting consequences on their careers and reputation. Moreover, the stress of gambling-related issues can lead to absenteeism, decreased motivation, and a decline in overall work performance. 6. Physical health consequences. Sleep disorders. The stress and anxiety related to gambling can lead to sleep disturbances. Insomnia, difficulty falling asleep, or waking up in the middle of the night feeling restless and anxious are common physical effects of the mental strain caused by gambling. This lack of rest can exacerbate mental health problems, leading to fatigue, irritability, and poor decision-making. Substance abuse. In some cases, men may turn to alcohol or drugs to cope with the emotional pain caused by gambling. Substance abuse can further compound mental health issues, increasing the risk of depression, anxiety, and even suicidal thoughts. 7. Suicidal ideation and risk. Thoughts of suicide. For some men, the emotional and financial toll of gambling becomes unbearable. The despair and hopelessness that can result from losing large amounts of money, damaging relationships, and facing mounting debt can lead to suicidal thoughts. Men are often less likely to seek help for mental health issues due to societal expectations around masculinity, which can prevent them from accessing the support they need. As a result, those struggling with gambling addiction may experience feelings of hopelessness and contemplate suicide as a way to escape their pain. Higher risk of self-harm. In extreme cases, men who feel trapped by their gambling problems may resort to self-harm or reckless behavior as a way to cope with overwhelming emotions. This can be a dangerous manifestation of their inability to manage the mental strain caused by gambling. Statistics on gambling and mental health in the UK. Gambling addiction is a significant issue in both the UK and the USA, and statistical data highlights the extent of the problem among men. These statistics demonstrate how gambling can impact mental health and well-being. Prevalence of gambling. According to the Gambling Commission's Gambling Behavior in Great Britain 2022 report, approximately 0.8% of adults, around 400,000 people in Great Britain, were identified as problem gamblers. Of these, a significant proportion are men. The report indicates that 80% of problem gamblers are male, and men are more likely to engage in higher-risk gambling behaviors compared to women. Mental health and gambling. The Gambling Commission's Impacts of Gambling on Mental Health report found that men who are problem gamblers are at a higher risk of experiencing mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Around 40% of people who experience gambling problems report that their gambling has caused serious mental health issues. Men in the UK who are problem gamblers are more likely to suffer from anxiety disorders. And a study published in the Journal of Gambling Studies, 2020, found that 22% of men with gambling problems also struggle with clinical depression. Suicide risk. The UK Gambling Commission reported that men are more likely to consider suicide due to the impact of gambling. A report by GamCare, a UK charity supporting people with gambling problems, noted that nearly 1 in 5 problem gamblers have considered suicide due to the mental and financial stress caused by gambling. Statistics on gambling and mental health in the USA. Prevalence of gambling. According to the National Council on Problem Gambling, NCPG, approximately 2 million American adults, about 1% of the population, are classified as severe problem gamblers, with another 4 to 6 million adults being considered at risk for developing gambling problems. As with the UK, the majority of these problem gamblers are men. The NCPG reports that 75% of people seeking treatment for gambling problems in the US are men. Mental health and gambling. According to a study by the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, NIAA, men with gambling disorders often experience high rates of mental health comorbidities, including depression and anxiety. Around 60–80% of individuals with gambling addiction also suffer from depression, anxiety disorders, or substance abuse. The National Epidemiologic Survey on Alcohol and Related Conditions, NESARC, estimates that problem gambling rates are higher in men, particularly among younger age groups, with men aged 18 to 34 showing the highest rates of gambling addiction. Suicide and self-harm. A study published in the American Journal of Public Health found that men with gambling addiction are at higher risk for suicidal thoughts and behaviors. The research suggested that problem gamblers are significantly more likely to experience suicidal ideation, with the suicide rate among problem gamblers estimated to be up to 20 times higher than the general population. According to the Gamblers Anonymous National Helpline, 70% of individuals who reach out for support in the US report experiencing severe mental health distress, including thoughts of self-harm or suicide, due to their gambling behavior. Financial impact. The American Gaming Association, AGA, reported that the average loss of a problem gambler in the US is approximately $3,000, $5,000 per year. But for many, the losses are much higher. This financial strain often exacerbates mental health issues, contributing to feelings of shame, guilt, and hopelessness. Key takeaways on gambling's impact on men's mental health in the UK and USA. Men are disproportionately affected by gambling problems, with approximately 80% of problem gamblers in both the UK and the USA being male. The impact on mental health is profound, with high rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts found among problem gamblers. Financial strain is a significant contributor to mental health issues, with many men struggling to cope with the consequences of losing large amounts of money. Suicide risk is notably higher among men with gambling problems, with research showing up to 20 times the risk compared to the general population. Seeking help remains challenging, but support services like GamCare in the UK and Gamblers Anonymous in the USA offer valuable resources to help men recover from gambling addiction and its associated mental health problems. These statistics highlight the serious consequences gambling can have on men's mental health in both the UK and the USA, underscoring the importance of early intervention, awareness, and support services to address this growing issue. Check out the links in the description for further useful information on this subject.